Welcome back. The following half hour of Daytime at 9 is a paid political announcement for the Nicholas LaHood for District Attorney campaign. With that, we will toss it over to longtime local journalist Matari Jones.
Thank you and good morning. You've seen his face all over town, whether it's on billboards and television ads and newspaper advertisements. Now you're going to get to hear from him live in studio for the next half hour. Good morning. My name is Matari Jones, and I'd like to introduce to you a candidate who wants to be your next district attorney, Mr. Nico LaHood. Good morning, Mr. LaHood.
Thank you.
You mind if I call you Nico?
You can call me, I've been called a lot of things, so Nico's fine.
And I want to let our viewers know this is going to be an honest discussion and talk with you, the man, Nico LaHood.
Absolutely.
We are going to talk about everything from tattoos to drug arrests. We're going to talk about everything about you as to why you want to be the next district attorney of Bexar County.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You are from San Antonio. You graduated from Central Catholic High School and St. Mary's Law School, and you are a very high-profile attorney here in San Antonio.
I'm born and raised in San Antonio. I spent a lot of time on the south side with my grandma. My mom went to Harlandale, and so I grew up on South Flores and Clutter Street. And then I've been here all my life. I went to Central, went to St. Mary's University. I somehow found a wife. She's just amazing. I married up. She blessed us with 3 wonderful children that I absolutely breathe for, and I have a passion for people, and I want to serve as a district attorney.
Now, on that note, you want to serve as the district attorney. Why do you want to be the district attorney of Bexar County, the top prosecutor here, and you're running against a very formidable opponent?
Sure. I mean, the answer is simple for me. I mean, I'm grateful, and people don't understand what I mean when I say that. I'm grateful for me and my faith to God for bringing peace in my life. I sit before you and our viewers as a man full of joy and peace, and I haven't always been like that. I've gone through some things in my life, and we're going to talk about them, I'm sure, from being arrested 21 years ago to losing my brother to a violent crime in my parents' driveway. And I went through a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of people out there that go through stuff in their life. And I have some experiences, a lot of experiences in the profession as well. And so I want to bring all those experiences and bless our community.
You are very passionate about changing the direction of violent crime here in Bexar County. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I'm not one of those guys that complains from the cheap seats, you know. I mean, I've been involved in the justice system for close to 12 years now, and I look at statistics. I'm a data-driven person. Bexar County has the highest number of child abuse cases in the whole state of Texas. That's unacceptable. We have over a 75% repeat offender rate, so people are going through the system like a revolving door. And then you tie that into a 78% increase in violent crime since 1999 when my opponent took office, and I can keep going, and that's unacceptable. And so my pop taught me many things when I was younger. One of them was the definition of insanity. To do the same thing over and over again and think you're going to get a different result. And so to me, it's insane to do what we've been doing for 16 years and think we're going to get different results.
Let me bring it back again to your personal story.
Sure.
You have a very unique story, and some people and some voters in particular can interpret it as a story of redemption and humility and turning your life around. Let's talk about Nico LaHood that a lot of people associate with you. Let's just clear it up, bring it out there right now from the beginning. You were arrested?
I was.
For drugs.
21 years ago. It was a felony drug charge. I'm not proud of it, and I talk about that, and I use that as a testimony when I speak to young people or what they call at-risk children, or even in different church groups. Made a very poor choice 21 years ago, which I'm not proud of, but I'm extremely proud of the man that I've developed into today. And I'm comfortable in my skin. You have to be. I mean, it's not like I didn't think that this was going to be an issue. It was an issue in 2010 when I ran, and they told me I couldn't run, and I said, well, yes, I can. And so I think people appreciate honesty, and it is a story of redemption. My faith teaches me that. I'm a Christian, and I don't apologize for that. And our justice system is set up for redemption as well. I mean, if we have that attitude of one poor choice, and I don't call it a mistake because it wasn't a mistake, it was a very poor choice, and we throw people away, where's that going to leave our community?
If the voters elect you to be the next district attorney of Bexar County, how will you run things differently?
I'm going to bring a culture of justice. A district attorney's oath and a prosecutor's oath is to seek justice, not just convictions. But what does that mean? That's an elusive term that nobody really knows what that means.
And there's a difference.
Well, that means doing what's right and not what's easy. And the problem is politicians do what's easy. I don't want to be a politician, so I'm going to tell people now, whichever camera, if you're looking for a politician, I'm not your guy, okay? I want to be a public servant. So I have zero interest in doing what's easy. I have every interest in doing what's right. And so that culture of justice, that means to be as strong as you can be on violent criminals that are hurting our families, but also being gracious and merciful and letting someone redeem their life if we think it's warranted in that situation for a nonviolent offense.
So it seems like you're trying to find a balance here. You're not just totally going the conviction route. You're not saying you're going to let criminals off. You're trying to find a balance there. Is that correct?
Balance is it. And when you look at Lady Justice, which is the symbol of our justice system, she holds those scales. Everything means something on that statue. With a blindfold, you don't look at political party, you don't look at race, you don't look at money, affluence, anything. You look at the facts and the law. But those scales reference balance. You have to balance what's right, protecting the community, being merciful, being strong, being swift, and that's why she carries a sword. She puts her head on a snake to crush evil. She has her foot on a book, have knowledge of the law, and then wears that blindfold that doesn't just do one thing for their friends and not for the rest of the community. We have to get it right.
The incident we talked about earlier happened 21 years ago, 21 years ago,
Yes,
2
ma'am.
decades ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me again, how did you make the change from you were 21 years ago to the attorney that you are now?
Well, the combination of things is a great foundation with my parents. I'll never forget when my pop picked me up and he looked at me and I was like, oh, I was more scared of my own man than I was of the system. And he wouldn't say anything to me. And he sat in front of me and I finally broke the silence after literally a while when he drove me back. And I said, Pop, I'm sorry that I embarrassed you. And he snapped at me and he says, you don't embarrass me, son. You embarrass yourself. I love you no matter what, which comports with my faith, how God feels about me. I want you to remember something though. Don't ever forget this. It will take you years to build up a good reputation and 1 second to mess it up. It didn't sink in at that time, but obviously he had sowed a seed into my spirit. That and then my walk, 2 years later, and we can talk about this again, I'm sure, the murder of my brother obviously took me down a different path that I could have never imagined or anybody imagines going down.
Again, you just have a unique experience. You've had a lot going on in your life, Nico. So 21 years ago, the drug offense, you've moved on. You graduated from law school, you became a lawyer. But you mentioned, as you mentioned, 2 years after the arrest, your brother, Michael LaHood, was actually murdered.
Yes, he was taken from us in my parents' driveway during a carjacking. 4 individuals were carjacking women that night, and then a young lady and some friends were following Mike home back to my parents' house, which I was living there at the time. And they tried to steal his keys in his car, and they shot him in the face in my driveway. And we walked out 30 seconds later. And what I share with people in my testimony is, I heard my mom cry the way only a mama can cry. And that takes nothing away from being a daddy. I would give my life from any one of my kids right now, and you couldn't even think fast enough before I would do that. But there's something very special about a mommy. And what I heard that night from my mom and the way she cried, it stays with me today. And I never want anyone to ever feel that. And I can't stop that, but I can have compassion to victims and people that have been victimized when they go through the system and seek justice.
And on that note, if I may elaborate,
Sure.
because of that horrible incident, do you think you're coming from a different perspective when you're running for district attorney? You are a victim of crime. Victimized.
At some point, victims become volunteers. And so I don't call myself a victim, and neither does my family anymore. Because I don't want to live under that label.
Okay.
It's an experience. We were victimized back then, and then I sit before you, a man full of peace and joy, knowing that I'll see my brother again, hopefully not today, but I will see him again, and so I have joy.
Let's change the topics here. When we talk about you running for district attorney, and I opened up the show mentioning how you can see Nico LaHood everywhere, on television ads, billboards, newspaper ads. You have gotten an enormous amount of endorsements, and from all types of people. And when you look at the organizations who are endorsing Nico LaHood for the next district attorney of Bexar County, the endorsements really say a lot. And let me try and explain where I'm coming from.
Sure.
If you're running for district attorney, you're running for the top prosecutor for Bexar County.
Yes, ma'am.
The deputy sheriffs are the law enforcement that manages the law enforcement inside the courthouse, yet they are endorsing you, not the incumbent. Explain to me, what do you think that symbolizes? And tell me about these endorsements.
We have the Bexar County Sheriff's Association, the Firefighters Association, the Adult Probation Association. Those are 3 main entities that function within the justice system. There's many moving parts in our justice system, and that's an honor. These are people that have seen my work over the almost 12 years as a special prosecutor, as a magistrate judge, as a defense attorney, as a trial attorney. I try cases. That's the way I'm wired, and that's what my office does. And so it was an honor to sit before them, answer questions, tough questions like we're talking about now, but honestly, so it's not a tough question for me. And for them to say, you know what, Nico, we need new vision. We love your ideas. We love the way you want to bring people together, not divide them. I truly believe it takes a village to raise a child. The village is our community, to include working with law enforcement, first responders, probation, who are in the trenches, dealing with that recidivism rate, that repeat offender rate, stopping people from coming back once they're in our system, healing people instead of coping with problems and putting Band-Aids on them. And so it's an honor to have all 3 of those endorsements, and I'm very, very proud of them.
And speaking of endorsements, there's one our KB viewers would be very, very familiar with. It's not only organizations that are endorsing Nico LaHood for the next District Attorney of Bexar County. You have a lot of support from the San Antonio Spurs. And right now, I'm going to show our viewers one of those videos from a very popular Spurs player that has endorsed you for District Attorney. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hi, I'm Tim Duncan, here in support of Nico LaHood. I've known Nico for way too long, 15 plus years now, and we met each other when we were young men, no families, and we learned a lot about each other over the years, became very good friends, and still are very good friends, obviously. We've had kids around the same time, and I've watched him grow up, really grow up, from the young men that we were to a real adult, a father, someone that I respect and really enjoy being around. That's why it's easy for me to sit here and say that I really support what he is wanting to do here in his run for DA. He's a focused, driven individual. If he puts something in front of him and he wants to achieve it, he's going to achieve it, or he's going to die trying. And I know he wants what's best for this community, and I hope that he gets the opportunity to get this position, and I know he'll do the best possible with it. On Election Day, I hope you'll vote for my friend, Nico LaHood. Thank you.
Wow. Tim Duncan from the Spurs. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, to me, it's funny to watch him look, because normally he's busting my chops about something. So for him to talk, he's trying to be serious there, but it was very sincere. Tim and I have been friends for, it's close to 17 years now.
Wow.
And
how did y'all meet?
We met through Antonio Daniels.
Okay.
We have through mutual people, and Tone, we call him Tone, introduced us, and we just hit it off. I mean, nothing to it, just genuine friendship. And he's our son Michael's godfather.
Right.
And I didn't even want to use him. And he said, Nico, how can I help out? I go, no, don't worry about it. You know, I really want to help. How can I help? And so I was very, very humbled by him wanting to do stuff like that. So.
And it wasn't just him as a part of the Spurs. Tony Parker has endorsed you as well. You've already mentioned Antonio Daniels. And for our viewers, if you want to see more of these videos, you can see them on San Antonio Champions for Children's website. So the endorsements are incredible. How does that make you feel? What do you think that says about you, Nico LaHood, if you have celebrities, for lack of a better term, here in San Antonio, but highly visual people such as Tim Duncan and Tony Parker with the world champion Spurs endorsing you for District Attorney of Bexar County? They're talking about you and your character.
Well, I'm humbled by that, you know, and because they know me personally, and there's a lot of people out there that know me personally, so when the attacks come, I'm just comfortable in my skin. I rely on my faith and my friendships and the people that really, really know me, so I'm humbled by it. What it says to viewers, I don't know. There's always going to be someone that takes it and tries to make something negative about it, but they're not talking about why I would be a good DA. They're talking about that they trust me, you know, with their kids in this situation, with my mindset and my values and my principles, and so that's an honor. I'm very humbled by that.
Let's change topics here, and it was something very interesting that you mentioned when you talked about attacks. There seems to be two totally different campaigns when it comes to the office of District Attorney for Bexar County. As we know, you're running against a 16-year incumbent, Judge Susan Reed. She's District Attorney, but she was a former state district judge. But Susan Reed is the 16-year incumbent. That is who you are running against.
Yes, ma'am.
When you look at the campaigns, they seem starkly different. What would you like to share with us about why you think your campaign is different from your opponents?
Well, what I think is one thing, and really it's what the people think. And you can just look at our Facebooks and look how we're conducting ourselves on Facebook. As difficult as it is, I answer every post, even the negative ones, and I've instructed my staff, do not take them down. We're going to leave them up. People have a right to their opinion, and the best I can, I will address them all. So you just look at the Facebooks, you look at the campaigns. I'm trying to talk about issues, child abuse numbers, DWI numbers. We have the highest numbers in the state of Texas on DWIs. We have the worst conviction rates on DWIs. We have the highest dismissal rates on DWIs. These aren't my numbers. They're out there for people to see themselves. With that recidivism rate, that repeat offender rate. I'm trying to talk about issues that relate to the office, our justice system, and the community. And what I'm asking her to do is to do what we're doing here. For us to interview with our employers, which are the citizens of Bexar County. And she's refused to do that. She doesn't want to debate. She's turned down debates. She's no-showed on debates. I've offered a town hall meeting. I've offered a situation like this where we can interview for the citizens of Bexar County, which is important. I don't know anybody that's either hired an employee or has received a job opportunity and refused an interview. And I think it's disrespectful, in my humble opinion, that she will not talk openly and honestly and answer questions like I am for the citizens.
So you have asked Judge Susan Reed, the district attorney, to come out and publicly debate you?
Absolutely. Well, she no-showed to the League of Women's Voters Forum.
That's right.
I know another news station offered a debate. I think 2 news stations have, and then I have just openly on Facebook and through mutual people said, let's talk. I mean, it's easy to throw stones from over the fence and duck. Stand up over the fence, stand in front of your opponent, and receive a challenge honorably. How can people think that the elected DA will stand up for what's right for them and face a hard challenge in a courtroom or in a situation that's going to bring justice to the community if the DA, and I'm not being disrespectful, runs from a challenge? I've never run from a challenge at any point in my life, and I'm not going to start now.
You also made a very interesting point when we talk about the starkness and the difference between the 2 campaigns. It seems like one campaign focuses on you as a person and your character, and then there's the other campaign, yours, where you are talking about statistics and how you're going to change the DA's office and why you want to run for the office. Let's talk about the tattoos.
Okay, sure.
You have tattoos.
I have some tattoos.
And I'm sure there's a lot of KABB viewers that have tattoos.
I'm just, like I said, no pun intended, I'm comfortable in my skin, like I said earlier, and my tattoos have tremendous meaning to me. I have the Archangel Michael, who for me is a defender, and my brother's name is Michael, and my son's name is Michael. I have some other angels here. I have his initials and my angel. I have one of my children's names on my forearm. I have the Archangel Gabriel, who for me is a messenger, and I like to be a messenger for faith, for people, for redemption, for hope. I have the Sacred Heart of Jesus on my shoulder, which is a wonderful prayer that sustained me a lot of times when I was going through my battles and the anger of losing my brother and things. And then I have my children's names. And then I have a dedication to my brother on my back.
Wow.
So,
you have a lot of tattoos.
Sure I do. but my character is more than skin deep. And that's the ad that we have put out because it means something. And when you say she wants to make it about my character, I have zero issue of making it about my character because I'm very comfortable about my character, and I have so many people in the community that know my character. And so I would love for her to stand here and let's talk about each other's character. If you want to make it a character issue, let's talk about that, but she won't even do that.
Because you have been criticized for your tattoos, and there's been some kind of connection that your leadership as the next DA of Bexar County, if the voters so choose, they should not vote for you because you have tattoos.
Strong innuendos. Can we really trust this guy? And she takes a Facebook post of with me and my wife and cuts out my wife and narrows it down. And we were driving in, and it's for people to see. I had my earphones on because I was on the phone talking. We were just coming back from a barbecue. I had not shaved in 4 days, and I have 9 o'clock in the morning shadow, not 5 o'clock shadow. And I was just standing there, and I did the Hawaii peace sign, hanging loose. It was just, me and my friends, we do that. So we were sending it to one of our buddies. And the Archangel Michael and my tattoo is showing. And I'm going like this in a tank top. We came from a swimming party. Wow. And somehow that I cannot be trusted. Did she say the tattoo directly? She puts it there, the innuendos. How can this person be trusted? And why put a tattoo in the front of one of your political advertisements without that innuendo? And then her manager makes a comment about it. I think he said something like, well, Nico's obviously proud of them because he puts them out for all the world to see. I put them out for all the world to see because I'm not ashamed of who I am. And I'm not ashamed to be real for people and not be a politician and be fake. So.
And you wanted to clearly communicate that to the voters of Bexar County.
Yes.
And so you created a commercial called Skin Deep, which focuses on the issue of the tattoos, and especially directed toward the people who may have some kind of concerns or misconceptions or misunderstandings about your tattoos and the criticisms you've received from them. So we're going to take a look at the video, Skin Deep, and see what you have to say.
Sure.
Susan Reed says you can't trust someone like Nico LaHood because he has a tattoo. So she admits she doesn't trust our military, our veterans, those that risk their lives, teachers, nurses, professionals who care for our kids, even Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf, and those who have lifted our city to greatness. Ink is skin deep. Character runs much deeper, Ms. Reed. Yours says you're out of touch with our society. Vote Nico LaHood for District Attorney.
Pretty powerful.
Well, you know, I want to be real clear about this too, because that commercial would have never been produced if she had not made an issue of tattoos. I mean, I'm not here to talk about tattoos. I'm not here to even talk about it, which I think is relevant though. My arrest from 21 years ago, I was open about it in 2010. It's part of my testimony. It's part of my story of redemption. I'm not proud of it, like I said. I'm proud of who I am today, and I'll talk about my last 21 years also. So these are issues that she's made real, and so we just have to address them.
Okay. How do you want to make a difference again, Nico? It seems like you have one campaign that may be insensitive to different types of people, different generations of people. How do you want to unite people? And if so, how
Absolutely.
so?
I want to
How so?
unite people, not divide them. It's justice for everyone, not just for a certain few. I mean, I really, truly believe, if you look at Lady Justice, I believe in that symbol of our justice system that goes all the way back to Roman and Greek times. I mean, when you look at the symbols on Lady Justice, they really have deep meaning. Blindfold, scales, the sword, the book of knowledge, stepping on serpent, keeping us safe from evil. I mean, that has deep meaning to my spirit, to my soul. And I tell people that I wish I wasn't the most qualified, but I am. I've actually seen, we have a candidate here in me that has seen the justice system from every possible perspective. As a judge, magistrate judge, special prosecutor, defense attorney, someone that was young and foolish and turned his life around with structure and guidance. Of someone who's been victimized. I've taught at 2 police academies. I've been an adjunct professor at St. Mary's University on trial advocacy. So I want to bring all those experiences and share them with the community and really fix what's broken in our system.
On that note, again, if there was something that you could tell our voters here in Bexar County, and particularly the KABB viewers here, a lot of them are young. A lot of them maybe have made some mistakes and are making mistakes right now that they may have to figure out how to change around later on in the future. What is the message you want to get out to our KABB viewers this morning?
Well, I think the message is don't let other people make decisions for you. And the example I've given to a young person the other day when I was talking was, would you ever go into a restaurant and they tell you, you're going to pay for this meal, but I'm going to tell you what you're going to eat? And the person said, well, I'd walk out. Right, well, you can't walk out of this. I guess you can move out of Bexar County. But don't let anyone tell you who's going to serve you as DA or district court judge or county judge or district clerk or county clerk or governor or lieutenant governor, whoever you vote for. Even if you don't vote for me, just go out and vote. And so I just want to engage people. I get people engaged and understand that their voice is powerful and let it be heard in the voting booth. So,
how dire do you think the situation is for the voters to elect the next district attorney for Bexar County? You've talked about the stats. We've talked about the crime. This could be a turning point for the direction of the district attorney's office. Could it be?
It would absolutely be a turning point because our mentality between me and Ms. Reed are completely different. We look at things different. In my humble opinion, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, she has a sense of entitlement to that office. That's why she won't come out here and interview with the citizens of Bexar County like I'm doing. And I have a spirit of service. And that doesn't mean to be weak. That doesn't mean to be a doormat. People that know me know that I have zero issue keeping our families safe. I have zero issue keeping your children and grandchildren safe. I assure you that. But we need to have a balance. We need to have a balance from people that make poor choices in life to evil people, to mean people that are going to hurt our families, and someone with the experience and lived a little bit of life. And in 42 years of walking on this side of heaven, I've lived some life, and so I want to share that with the community.
So you want to get the voters out to vote. We all know if early voting ends on Friday, October 31st.
Right.
And Election Day is November 4th.
November 4th, we will know.
You will know. The endorsements, again, are just pretty incredible. Again, you've got Tony Parker, you've got Tim Duncan, you've got Antonio Daniels, you have the AFL-CIO, the Deputy Sheriff's Association. Again, if you could tell our KABB viewers the symbolism, what do you think that means, again, as to why voters should elect you as the next district attorney of Bexar County?
And we think we take it a little further. We think we take it a little further, too. I have people in different churches and different other communities. It's not just about any one type of person or person with a certain background that is endorsing me, and it's humbling to me. That means that our message is reaching people, and it crosses party lines. I have a lot of Republicans that have humbled me by saying, Nico, forget politics. This is about justice, and it's about people, and we're supporting you. And that is amazing to me, and so I'm humbled by it. It doesn't make me think anything other than what an awesome responsibility when people come to you and look at you and say, I trust you with my kids. I trust you with my community. I trust you with our streets. And I want to let them know that I'm going to co-labor with them. It's going to be a togetherness, not separateness. And we're going to work hard to fix the system and to make our streets safer.
So you have completely turned your life around from 21 years ago then.
Oh, without a doubt. I don't even recognize that person. Not that I was I was just a stupid kid, you know, but I wasn't a bad kid, but I was still a kid, immature. And so I just feel blessed, and so I believe that we are blessed to be a blessing for others, and so that's what I want to do.
Again, I keep saying the word unique, but you do have a very distinct, a very unique story, background, and current situation and position right now. You have a story about humility and turning your life around. If there was something you could tell our KBB viewers about that, about you can turn your life around, you can overcome mistakes, what would that message be?
And poor choices as well. I would tell them this. Humility is the foundation. You have to humble yourself. Arrogant people are talking over other people, right? And so you can't be molded like clay if you're not humble. And so you either humble yourself or life will humble you, I promise you. And so, and both happen to me. And so I wake up every morning knowing that we're all one phone call away from a life-changing experience. I know that because I've experienced it. That's humbling to me. That's humbling that when my wife calls me, and I don't have my phone right now, so it makes me nervous, but that I always answer no matter what I'm doing unless I'm in trial. I said, chula, that's a term of endearment in Spanish. Are kids okay? Everybody okay? Okay, I'll call you back. I'm in a meeting. And that's it. Because I know that could be the phone call because we've experienced that. And when you walk out every day in the street with that humility and that realistic look on life, I think people are blessed by that, and people need hope. My pastor always says, you know, you can live 2 weeks without food and 3 days without water, but you can't live 1 second without hope. And so people need hope. And so I want to give people hope and the community hope that you can make a better life with accountability and structure. You can make a better life for yourself.
We had talked earlier about opportunities, not second chances.
Right, yes, I make a distinction.
There's a difference.
There is.
There is a difference. When you talk about that, tell me the difference between second chances and opportunities.
Sure. I tell people all the time in a couple of interviews before, it's like, I don't believe in second chances. And then people go like, what? Nico LaHood doesn't believe in second chances? You hypocrite. I go, well, let me finish. I believe in opportunities. Because an opportunity references a co-laboring, right? It means people working together. And the analogy I give people, it's like walking onto a football team. If you say you're a walk-on and you have an opportunity to make the team, you're not on yet. You have to prove to me that you deserve to be on this team. It's different. That means that person has to work their butt off to get on that team. So if people are given opportunities to work their butt off, to make themselves a better citizen, to be productive instead of being a drain. I think that it's accountability, it's responsibility, self-worth, and we don't have to babysit them at the end if we really instill that in them. So I absolutely believe in opportunities. I don't believe in second chances because a second chance is a freebie.
You talk about your faith a lot, and you are a man of faith, and those shape your personal values.
Right.
But there may be some voters who may not really be in tune with your faith.
Sure.
Could you talk briefly, we've only got a few seconds,
I'll
about the importance of that it's okay if they don't want to vote for you based on your faith?
Well, it's okay if they don't want to vote for me based on whatever they want. That's their choice. But I tell people, and I've spoken to people that do not have faith, I go, look, I will never push my faith on anybody. But you have to know what makes me tick. And even though we disagree on faith, and I'd like to talk to you about that at some point because it matters to me, but you will benefit from my values and my principles. I promise you that. And then most people are okay with that.
Okay. Well, now there's a call to action, and that is to remind our Bexar County voters that Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. The last day of early voting is this Friday, October 31st, Halloween. So before you take your kids trick-or-treating or go to that Halloween party, make sure you get to the polls and vote. And once again, early voting ends on Friday.
On Friday.
Tuesday is Election Day, November 4th.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to thank you for joining us this time for this special segment featuring Nico LaHood, campaigning for District Attorney of Bexar County.